joining me for this week's Witches and Wine. I am excited about this episode because we are joined today by the lovely Dr. Cindy Ravenmoon, author of the Ravenmoon Grimoires. I am excited to get started. Welcome, Dr. Cindy Ravenmoon. I am so happy to have you here again.
Well, thank you for having me. It's so nice to be back.
It's a pleasure. We've got the wine, we've got the witches, so I figure we could just dive right in.
Just dive right in. Little white Zinfandel.
Oh, lovely.
What are you having today?
I forget what it's called. It's a new one. My husband picked one up for me. I'm like, we're having witches and wine, so I'm going to need some wine.
Pick up a new bottle.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, and it's lovely. And, you know, I feel like Witches and Wine has really been fulfilling a purpose in my life, you know, with the lockdown and things like that. So I had the idea at the perfect time. You know, I miss witches, I miss wine. So
gotta do it. It's fun time. Gotta have to. You bet.
Awesome. First question we have is, when did you realize that your practice was something more, that it is your life's work?
Okay. I knew I was different from the age of about 7 and didn't really find out who I was till I was about 24. When I was 24, I had a major revelation, and I guess that would be the official time I would say that I knew this was where I was meant to be. Okay. I had a mentor. I was walking in a bookstore, and we just clicked, and she became my mentor, and it's kind of the rest is history, but it was amazing. And she was meant to be there for me, like she said, and kind of started on the whole path, and the rest is history. So yeah, I mean, I was 24, and so that would be a little ways away, but I won't say how long. It's been about 26 years. But yeah, it has been an amazing ride and challenging, but it's been good.
Awesome.
But I think for all of us, it has been, you know,
yes.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing's too easy. Otherwise, you know, what's the point of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like they say, nothing worth having comes easy. You have to go through the shit to get to the good stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the second question is, will you be putting out another book?
Yeah, actually, I have not started it yet, but I have a couple of ideas in my head, actually for a couple of possibilities. One, I want to either continue doing a continuance of the first book that I wrote, which was on my magical practices, or maybe even doing an oracle deck, possibly.
Ooh.
Yeah, or the other idea I've been tossing around in my head for a long time is to try some fiction, actually, to either try like a little novella or a short story, and like do little bits by little bits and publish them all on Kindle or something, or just do one big, compliance of a bunch of different ones. Maybe vampires or ghosts or something like this, just something, a fun little escape to write about and get into and just have fun with. So those are kind of some ideas that I'm tossing around. Otherwise, I've thought about if I did the continuance of the magical thing, I'm thinking about doing something as more of a, like almost an autobiography / devotional type of book. So
wow, well, those all sound great and exciting.
Yeah, and I thought about the actual autobiography a long time ago of how Satanism has changed my life for the better and some of my experiences with that. So, we'll see how it goes.
Yes, and I think more people need to hear about that, how black magic and Satanism and the left-hand path help people. It's not what people think, what what they've been sold by other people.
Yep, the misconceptions and all that other nonsense. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of them.
Oh, is
Yep.
there ever? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. I noticed all Black magicians perform a lot of protection for themselves and family members just in case another magician would try to harm them. Why is there such a war going on between Black magicians?
Wow. I've kind of asked myself the same thing of why that has always been the case. Um, and especially I find out the biggest two groups that fight are the atheist Satanists and the theist, the theistic ones, and the ones that are completely think that we are all nuts. um, that's the biggest group because I've tried to be friends, of other, even, atheistic Satanists, and they want nothing to do with me. They won't talk to me, this kind of thing. And I'm thinking, why are you doing this? Why is this necessary? Why can't we all just get along? It's just ridiculous. I don't understand why this has to be this way, but those are the two main groups, and the Wiccans and their whole white light thing all the time when they push it of, well, you have to be white light and you can't be shadow, or you can't be this, or you can't be this because it's evil, and you're giving the wrong impression. And it's like, no, this is who I am. And you don't like it, too bad.
Yes, exactly.
So I would say those are probably the three groups that probably fight the most. You're going to get your white lighters, your Wiccan types. And then you're going to get the fighting between either those and all three of us or whatever. And it's just going to be nonstop of, conflict. And it would be nice to see one day that we all can just get along and say, you know what, we can agree to disagree, and it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is initiation a necessary step? And how soon can initiation be performed? Is it based on the Black magician's skills, knowledge, and understanding on when the magician is ready? And where does the ceremony take place?
Okay. Actually, I think that I did a self-dedication, and I did it within probably the first 3 months after I began, simply because it didn't mean that I was a know-it-all by any means. It means I was making a commitment to stay on that path, and the knowledge that I was going to continue to learn by being on that path. So it was more of a dedication type of ritual rather than, and everybody's idea of what an initiation is can be different. So no, you don't have to be, all knowing and all encompassing to do an initiation. I think it's just a dedication to say, hey, I found my home, and yes, I want to continue. And I think it is an important thing to do. And it doesn't have to be fancy. I went down to the beach and simply, said some things to myself and out to, the universe. And that was about it. It wasn't anything fancy. It wasn't like you see on TV. Those misconceptions of the whole initiation thing of hell night. So something like that. And what was the other part of the question?
Is initiation based on the readiness of the practitioner, basically?
Yeah, and you have to make a commitment. I suppose it's like getting married or anything else, or buying a house, or doing whatever you're gonna do. You're making a big statement by making that commitment, but it's a good thing to do it. So like I said, it's on a personal basis, but yeah, I would definitely, for your own sake, to say, yes, I'm doing this dedication for myself. If you want to do it with a group, that's fine too, but no, I don't think you have to be way adept to make that kind of initiation. I think you can kind of do it when you feel that you can commit.
Yes, absolutely.
Things change, and like you said, you started out as being Wiccan,
Yeah.
I started out as one of the atheist Satanists, as a matter of fact. In '94, I joined the Church of Satan, and I will always be a lifetime member, even though I'm not part of them anymore, because after LaVey died, I kind of went my own way. And I knew that something was missing. And that's when I found the theistic, satanic part of, Satanism, and it was the best choice I ever made, because now I feel fulfilled. I think so many, I don't understand the whole being an atheist thing. It's empty to me.
Yeah, and to anybody that has those abilities and that sensitivity to things, you would be feeling like something's missing, you know?
Yeah, and it was. I knew, being connected to the spirit realm my whole life, since I was a little kid. And then, like, no, this doesn't sit well with me. There's something wrong,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's how I explain it to people that are atheistic. I would just
Mhm.
say I've seen too much to like to feel
Yeah,
that way, but I respect where you're coming from. Like I understand, I get it from a
right.
logical stance, but I've just, a lot of
Yes,
shit gone down. I've seen too much. So
yeah, we've seen too much, we've lived through too much and whatnot. But not only that, but it just seems so empty. And not only that, but insulting. It's insulting to Satan Lucifer to say, well, I'm going to, acknowledge that you're a badass, but on the other hand, I'm not going to acknowledge you exist. Well, that's just mean, that's just mean.
yeah, and especially if that's your understanding of that force,
Yeah.
that it's an actual being and you're just going to
Yes.
ignore it, whereas some people think it's just part of their psyche and whatever, and that's cool, whatever
Yeah.
floats their boat, but
Yeah.
yeah, for me, I understand where you're coming from, like,
Yeah.
you just see too much and feel too much and it
Yeah.
would be empty.
Yes, it is.
And where would the ceremony take place? And you had mentioned that you did yours at the beach.
Yep, I did mine. We have a couple of lakes close to where I live, and are actually in town. And I just, at the time when, wherever I was living, I just went down to the beach and I was alone and made my dedication that way. It wasn't any big deal. Like I said, but it was powerful and it was meaningful.
Yeah,
And that's what counts.
exactly. That's all the difference. Whether you're doing it with a group with like 50 elders initiating you or you're standing on a beach,
Right.
it has to be meaningful to you. It has
Yes.
to empower you and you're making that commitment,
Yeah,
or just walking through that door. So
exactly.
is it true in order for Lucifer to work with you, a magician would have to go through the process of allowing them to remove chakras? Is this process emotional, and what happens to removed chakras?
Exactly. What are they talking about removing chakras?
It's a thing. Some people, I'll have to put it in the description below. There is someone that I listened to, and I watched him actually do this ritual. I didn't participate in it, but
Mhm.
removing the chakras is a real thing that some people do.
Really?
They feel like it frees them and they're more open, and there's a
Wow.
whole science behind it too. It's really interesting.
Wow.
Um,
Well, you
yeah.
got me on that one. I'm like, wow. I personally, being a Reiki master, could not
Me too.
imagine doing that. Are you also?
Yes.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
there we go. I could not imagine doing that. And I taught yoga and still practice yoga. And I could not imagine denying that. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense to me. You'll have to kind of fill me in of how they think that they feel free from, doing such a thing.
Yeah, I watched the ritual take place. It was during the Dark Arts Summit, so I just listened. I
Right.
didn't participate because I was curious. And, like you
Okay.
said, being a Reiki master and doing all these
Right.
things with the chakras, I was like, I'll just listen because I'm interested.
Yeah.
Um, and the theory behind it now, I got interrupted a lot and had to do stuff with my family, so I don't have the full deal, but I'll put the links in the description of this video. The chakras were imposed on us as a form of control and limiting us, is the gist of it. And there's a lot more potential when you remove the chakras. And that's the gist of what I got out of it, but there's more to it than that.
Yeah. I don't believe you can remove them. It's kind of like, well, I'm just going to automatically think that I can remove my liver and it's going to just go away. These are energy centers we are born with that we can't just, wish away. They're a part of our being. It's like currently in photography, photographing our aura. You're not going to stop that. Oh, I think I'll get rid of my aura today. I just, no, I don't buy into that's probably even feasible.
Yeah, the person who did the ritual, he explained how he went about it and how it's benefited, him. And it sounds really fascinating. I'm on the fence. Like, I don't know. I'll take information, wherever it comes from, because I'm curious. And
yeah.
But
well, I'm definitely curious now. I want to read up on that. Boy, it's like, I'll definitely look into that.
Yeah, it sounds really cool and interesting, but no, it's not necessary to work with Lucifer to remove your chakras. What happens when you remove the chakras? Well, apparently it removes your limitations and you're just open to everything.
Wow.
What I took away, and I'm no expert by any means. Like, I just saw that one little
interesting
reading,
thing to look into. Okay, gotcha. Well, I will definitely, when this comes out, I'll definitely follow the link and look into it because that's fascinating.
It is. It's really interesting. So, in order to work with Lucifer, no, you don't.
Yeah, and when you speak about Lucifer, to me, that once again is dealing with that high spiritual aspect. And if you're going to be messing with, chakra systems, which you get into the last three, and you're dealing with the Anja chakra, especially, at the top of your head, and you get rid of all that, then you're going to get rid of the enlightenment part. And that's part of Lucifer. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to do that?
Yeah, from what the experience sounded like, you become that whole, like the whole top chakra. Like you're the embodiment of that, like the other limitations are gone. But I don't want to overspeak or whatever, because I could be wrong, probably wrong, but that's what I took away from it. But no, Lucifer is the light of our intellect. He's that inspiration. He's
right.
All of that. So you don't have to do anything to work with Lucifer other than work with Lucifer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I look at it as the way our tribe does, our little gang, of that Lucifer and Satan, Lucifer are two sides of the same coin. They're just flip-flop, They did have different aspects, but they're basically one and the same,
Yep, they feel very different when they come forth, but they're like, different sides of that. That's
right.
Beautiful. Please forgive me for asking those silly questions. I have noticed a lot of tattoos on Black magicians. Is this something that is necessary?
No, it's not necessary. I just happen to be one that loves body art. But yeah, it gets a lot of misconceptions. But I do have a lot of magical symbols tattooed on me. So it does, have that correlation, but no, it's not something that's necessary to have, but, it's just something I enjoy having. And just to set the record straight, no, I'm not a criminal. I've never been arrested. I've never done drugs. I just simply like body art, and that's the way it is. I have full sleeves. About 60% of my body is tattooed. Lovely. And it's just something I like, but like I said, it has people have a lot of misconceptions of people who do it. But that's okay. It's best to ask in a nice way. And then, you'll get a nice answer back instead of one that is going to be sarcastic. But no, it's just something I've always loved. I think it's freedom of expression.
Absolutely. And that's very much the left-hand pathway, is to be an individual
Exactly.
and do what works for you and makes you feel good and feel like yourself and all of that stuff. And tattoos have been a part of magic.
And
Um,
tribal things and all of that
yeah,
since the beginning of time. Humans have been getting tattooed since the beginning of humanity. I mean, it's in cave paintings. It goes way back,
absolutely.
I think 40,000 years ago, they have cave paintings of people, getting tattooed with a little thing, the stick, you know, and
Yeah,
it's sacred. It is. It's sacred. It's a
it
sacred part
is.
of being part of what we are, you know.
Yes, exactly. And your body is your temple. You know, it's your
Right.
most important temple that you will ever enter.
Yes. And
So if
that
you,
is part of the magical system.
yeah,
So why would you not do that, if you choose to do it and you're getting called to do it? That's the way I look at it.
absolutely. But no, it's not necessary. You don't have to have
No,
tattoos
no,
or anything like that.
no.
It's just something that people choose to do, and everybody has tattoos now. Social
Yeah,
workers,
everybody has
surgeons.
tattoos. Yep,
Yeah,
it doesn't have to have anything necessarily to do with magic or being a witch or anything else. It could be completely just, some people just do it randomly. Mine all have, deep significance to them. And like I said, it all is independent of what they
yeah.
like.
Yeah. And what they mean to you. So if
Yeah.
somebody has a tattoo, some people believe that if you have a tattoo of a certain deity, that means when you leave your earthly body, you're committed to that. But some of
Mm,
us have tattoos from more than one deity. So it's what
exactly.
it means to the person. It's all very, very personal, even though it's on the body that everyone can see
Yes.
in certain spots. um, how do either of you feel about a sharpened athame? I've been told it's insulting to spirits, but a dull one would seem pointless to me when I think of how I would use it.
Well, I guess it depends on how he or she thinks that they would use it. you know, Now, just a reminder, people, this is not a weapon. It's not a weapon. We don't use it to cut things, except the energy, if you're going to be forming things. And that's what it's, kind of designed for, along with the wand. The wand is the same way. So basically, I don't, in my own practice, um, I don't think it has to be either way. It could, just be careful. If it is sharp, be really careful because you can, damage yourself or someone close to you if you drop it or fling it or something like that. But, other than that, I think people take things a little bit too literally, when it comes to that. But that's just me. I think it's symbolic. It's not about, well, how is this physical blade actually physically made and physically built? It's like, well, this is a tool. You're using a tool and it's psychodrama. It's not something that has to be exactly this way or that way. I mean, if it's the opposite of, one person wants it this way and the other one wants it this way, well, you can sit and fight about it till the cows come home. It doesn't make any difference because, what works for one individual will not do anything for somebody else. So if, however you like your magical tools, that's how you like your magical tools.
Perfect, and I couldn't agree more. Um, the spirits, in my opinion and in my experience, don't care. You don't even need to have an athame or a wand. You can have your finger or just direct your will or your intention. It all depends. But whether it's sharp or not, like way back in Wicca, forever ago, that
Yeah.
was a big thing. The athame. It didn't matter if it was sharp or not, except
No,
in the coven, it was preferred that it not be sharp because you're getting 13 people, oftentimes in a living room, uh,
exactly.
drawing pentagrams and doing all this stuff. And, you know, and for the newbie who, doesn't know that, no, you don't stand right to the right of the high priestess when she's casting the circle because you're going to.
You don't want to lose an eye.
Exactly. So in those cases, absolutely have a dull blade just in case to
Yeah.
minimize like the possibilities of things going bad. Yes.
Not good.
No, it wouldn't be good at all.
No, I
And
haven't even used it. I haven't even used an athame in a long time. I have them in my drawer somewhere, but if I use anything, I like to use a wand that is made out of selenite because being a Cancer and a moon child myself, I'm connected to that. So that's my preference. And I love selenite. So yeah.
ooh, me too. I have a selenite athame as well.
Ah,
It's amazing.
yes. Well, good. I love them. And it's beautiful. You hold it up to the light just so, and I've even got a 3-inch ball of selenite that I just love. And you watch just the shimmer off of it, it looks just
Oh
like the
yeah.
moon.
Yeah,
Just
I love it. I have a few different pieces around here, and it's just so good, especially with energy work and Reiki and things like that.
um,
Selenite is so handy.
and it charges itself. You don't have to clean the thing because it does all of the stuff on its own. It's amazing.
Yeah,
You can
absolutely.
actually buy discs of it, flat discs, and lay your other stones on them to be cleansed and charged, and it'll do the whole thing. It's just
Yeah,
amazing.
it is. So to answer that question, no, the spirits, I don't think
No,
care if it's sharp or not, if you have an
no,
athame or not, or whatever. I like to use my sword in a lot of my meditations, but that's just because it's symbolic to me. It's not, I
right.
don't think the spirits care. Some mornings I'm like,
No.
oh dang, I left my sword, in the trailer or whatever, and I
Oh, what
just
am I
don't. Yeah,
gonna do?
and they've never seemed to care either way. So, so if you start practicing magic, is there a list of what you cannot do or celebrate? For example, can you still celebrate Christmas and decorate a Christmas tree? Can you have crosses in your house? Can you go to church with the family? Or is this something that is not going to be acceptable?
Oh, I think once again, whatever you're comfortable with doing, it's not my thing. And I don't, my family's passed away basically, but any friends that would invite me who are not obviously like me, maybe not. I'll join them. All depends on if I, am okay, if I feel like I want to do it, and if I feel safe to do it, I'll do it. But it's all up to somebody who, personal preference. You don't have to, go. If you want to go, you can, you know hang a tree upside down in your living room. Yeah, suspend it from the ceiling. I've met people with this. It's no big deal. So do what you like to do. There's no rules. That's why we follow this path, because it's liberating. We don't have to obey anything.
Absolutely. And that's the key point right
Uh-huh.
there. That's why we're
Exactly.
here. Most of us have been Christian and we know what it's all about. And
Right.
we've left that because it didn't resonate with us. But it doesn't mean that we are not allowed to do anything. Actually, we can do whatever the heck we want. And that's what we love about it.
Exactly.
Um, Nothing's going to happen if we go to church. Many of us have Christmas trees. Many of us celebrate Christmas. Maybe not, maybe we don't go to church that day, or
Right.
maybe some of us do with our family, and we can still go to church and celebrate that being there with your family and that moment and whatever. Nothing tells us we can't. It's
No.
up to us, like you said, whether we feel safe, whether we feel welcomed, whether we feel like we resonate with the people there.
Yeah.
Some I've been to some churches where I enjoyed the service, like
Yeah.
because part of my job over the
Okay.
years,
Yeah.
and some of the priests would just bring such a great service. Like passionate and inspiring people, and that's the stuff I love. And when we're praying to God and stuff, I'm in my mind, I'm praying to my own gods,
Yep.
but I'm there in this moment. And
Well, yeah.
then I've been to some where I wanted to barf. Like the services were so lower level, vibrational,
Mhm.
energy. It was all about praying for sinners, forgive the sinners. The entire time, I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, what the hell is this crap? It's
Exactly. Yeah.
so, like, it didn't
Low
resonate at all.
vibration. Yeah,
Yeah,
low vibration and nothing but that kind of hate speech kind of thing going on.
yeah. And just see how
Yeah.
why you
Yeah.
washed your hands from it in the first place, you know? Just be who you are and be a good person and forget about praying for sinners and stuff, you know, curse those that need to be cursed and love and
Yeah.
bless those that deserve it and just move on with your day.
Right. Exactly.
Yes,
Because
and
we don't believe in sin and sinners anyway, so it's like go right over the head. It doesn't matter.
exactly. Exactly.
It's just
We
ridiculous.
believe in having to work through our own issues and be better people. You know, we
Yeah.
don't live all on this sin thing and yeah. Nah. And if you want a tree, have a tree. If you don't, you don't. If you whatever. There's
Yep.
no rules. Whatever you're
Nope.
comfortable with and makes you feel good about being you, do that.
Absolutely.
And until next time, I wish you dark and wild blessings.